Baverstock's home this morning. My name's Councillor Andy Strangeway. I'm an East Riding councillor. Graham has invited me to visit him in his home to discuss the report he's been sent by East Riding of Yorkshire Council. Would you like to start, Graham, by informing everybody of East Riding Council's ability to lose documents?
Yep. East Riding Council have lost many documents and basically they've lost my childcare records conveniently. I'm blaming Humberside County Council for the loss. They've lost many documents in more recent times as well, and I'm just at a loss at how they claim that they're so competent that they can lose important legal documents.
So did they explain that these documents are lost about your historical child abuse? Did they explain where these documents, where they thought these documents how they were lost, or what other documents lost at the same time of a similar nature?
No, the whole of my childcare records went missing because my solicitors wanted to get the childcare records, and when he inquired, they were told they're not there. And then the council tried to blame Humberside County Council, their predecessor council, for the loss, which I know is not right because I saw my childcare records in Town Hall in Bridlington, so I know that they were just disposed of because the council were in fear of being taken to court from my solicitors.
The document you got in front of you there, Graham, is this document which East Riding of Council have sent to you, and they're trying to make this wonderful claim, and I'd just like to read that. This report is written for East Riding of Yorkshire Council and can only be released to any other party with the permission of the Director of Adult Health and Customer Services. I've sent an email to the Director and John Skidmore to ask him for statute which explains the legal basis of that statement. But putting that aside, would you like to explain what the social worker's assessment was of you, please?
Yeah. Well, first of all, just going back to the assessment, right, about this document, right. I can't contact customer services, so I can't ask them. I can't contact the chief executive, which doesn't respond to my communication. And Director of Social Services, John Skidmore, just ignores me as if I'm not even here. So therefore, I've decided to release the draft documentation myself. Right. The social workers did an assessment in 2017, and it was there were social workers engaged and employed by East Riding Council, and these social workers determined on their professional opinion that I required 37 hours of care a week. That 37 hours of care that they say I needed was overruled by an area manager, senior manager, with no reason as to why he overruled it. And therefore, sadly, although these staff placed their objections on records, the records went missing.
What I find rather amazing is that East Riding Council appear to undermine the credibility of their very own social workers. If I could just turn you, Graham, to page 11, 4.1, I'll read this to you. It is verbally reported at interview by both SSW and TM2 that this care package was not approved. It was not being possible to confirm the details of this decision, as there is no record of how or why the decision was made. However, it is apparent from the case records that after the meeting on the 8th of December 2017, TM2 and SSW direct involvement with Mr. Baverstock ceased. Now, so we've got two social workers there stating the true position, and in the very same day, their direct involvement with you ceased. Why do you think that happened, Graham?
They were moved to silence them. They were moved because senior managers did not agree with their findings of their assessments. These social workers had their professional credibility and integrity brought into question by corrupt officers within a council who have been manipulating and using deception and deceit and fraudulent acts and care assessments to ensure I don't get care. So these professional social workers were moved out of the way because obviously the council didn't like their answers. And it's not the only the only social workers that have done it too. There have been other previous social workers in the past where I've got the statements and witness evidence from that they were also manipulated by their bosses.
I'm rather shocked by that, Graham. If I could just move you to page 13, and I note under 5.4 it refers to Vulnerable Adult Risk Management, VARM, and it goes on to say that the Care Act of 2015, this is on page 13, the Care Act 2015 therefore presented an opportunity for an assessment to be completed without the cooperation of Mr. Baverstock. Why was this never done?
Well, I suspect, again, the reason being that on the 16th of January 2018, the Steve Gray, the area manager, wrote to me and said, we're going to have a VAR meeting on 26th of thing. And if I had any concerns about the meeting, please feel free to contact him. I contacted him at least 12 occasions on the same afternoon as receiving his email, and he ignored every single one of them. And therefore, on that basis, I said, forget it. Right? I am not going to cooperate with them. Right?
What you're explaining here, Graham, just it appears to be either gross incompetence of East Riding Council or a cover-up. Let's cut the chase here. And I'd just like you to turn to page 15, because I believe it was sometime last year you asked myself as an elected member of East Riding Council in the name of Councillor Andy Strangeway to be your advocate. And on 8.3, the recommendations, many months, nearly a year later, I see number 3, revisit the involvement of an advocate when a new assessment is completed. Why do you think that they're refusing to allow you to choose your advocate?
Well, the council are trying to be cohesive. They're trying to control me. They're trying to cover up for their fraudulent actions. They are trying to manipulate the situation, deviate from the situation. They're trying to impinge on other professionals. They are making it up as they go along. And this is what my campaign's all about. Corruption is one thing, honesty and integrity is another, which this council doesn't have. And therefore, yes, I asked you, Councillor Strangeway, to be my advocate. I relayed that in black and white to the council, that I wanted you as my advocate, and the council refused me that right to engage you as my advocate, and they then sort of ensured that you were not getting documents that you were asking for.
When you asked me to be our advocate, Graham, I circulated as much as I could in the public domain, and I was rather shocked at the time that 66 out of the 67 East Riding councillors, of which 47 are Conservative, not one made a public statement to support you. Now, would you be of the opinion that the reason they are failing to give you the care you need is because of cost cutting, or do you believe there's another reason?
Well, partly to do cost cutting, but we've got to realise that social care budgets have gone up. We have to pay as public taxpayers more money on the budget for social care. The council did give, the government did give the council extra money, but I think they're too busy in East Riding Council with officers at the top. I think there's 24 officers getting paid £1.5 million a year between them. And I think what it is, they're so incompetent at running social services, they're wasting money through the back door. See, it's public money, and they're not accountable for that, right? And if you try and challenge them, they've got no answers. So basically, councillors don't get answers or nothing. Regarding the councillors, they've been bought by the social services, right, people. The councillors are fed a load of bull about me. They are manipulated, they are conned, and if they stepped out of line, the officers, councillors not do as officers tell them, they are then blackened, right?
Just to conclude, Graham, would you like to explain, due to East Riding failures, to carry out what is obviously their legal requirements to provide you with the care, your current challenging living arrangements and how your health has been affected?
Since October the 22nd, 2018, I've not been to bed. Since October the 22nd, I've only had one bath, and that was by my ex-carer. Without a friend who works full time and does his best to support me, I would have been dead by now. My health, my heart conditions is getting worse, and all the council do is pay me lip service, threaten me, bully me, harass me, impinge upon me. They are basically got an agenda to ensure I don't get any care. They say they want to give me care, but they do every obstacle in the way, put every obstacle in the way to prevent me from getting care. There's a systemic failure of senior managers in the council. There is, as I would far to go to say, corruption. Simple as that. And until the public do something about it.
I think you're absolutely right about the public, Graham. Tomorrow on Thursday at 4 o'clock, there is going to be announced all the candidates for the upcoming East Riding Council election. And I cannot believe there is not good men and true out there, 12 good men and true. And I cannot believe that these people standing believe it is acceptable for a resident of East Riding to only have one wash in over 6 months. Do you have a message to them new candidates at all, Graham?
Yeah, you may be true, you may be honest, you may have values, you may believe in democracy, but unfortunately, once you're elected, you're under control of officers of East Riding Council who will bully you into submission. And if you don't, they will just blacklist you, and that will be the end. So basically, although you're elected by the people to serve the people, at the end of the day, this council will just do as it likes. And it's got public money to do as it likes. It's unaccountable. They call themselves professionals. I have to say, and whether people like it or not, there's more brains in concrete than in their heads. And that's simple as that. And as far as I'm concerned, all I get from East Riding Council, they want to work with me. Do they really? No, they don't. They keep threatening me. They keep bullying me. They keep intimidating me. Right? And I used to be former chairman of the council's AIDS and Adaptation Working Group. And I know the Care Act inside out, upside down, 587 pages. Yet, the council, like a social worker yesterday, just gives me lip service after lip service after lip service. It's pacification. Anything rather than admitting they were wrong. And my care hours that had gone from living care to nothing, to living care to nothing, to 6 hours, to 8 hours, to 10 hours, they make it up as they go along to suit their own agenda.
What I would like to invite all candidates, Graham, I'm always the eternal optimist. And if there's any candidates who are watching this video of yourself who will stand up for your care, I will happily publish any communication from them. Is that acceptable to yourself?
Yeah. What it is, councillors have got to realise that what happens is that officers have words in their ears. They burn their ears and they say, oh, don't listen to him. Take the notice, councillor. Take the notice. He's got a personality disorder. He's got this. He's got that. And he's inventing and faking what? No. I'm telling the truth. Right? And I'm sick of this council manipulating, deceiving and using deception, deviating from the real facts.